return for grace. It's a beautiful day.
All right, 8 o'clock hour here on the Need to Know Morning Show on Tuesdays. That is the CEO Spotlight Hour. And always a blast to find out about the different stories, people leading organizations, companies, some of them big, some of them small, and everywhere in between. And we are thankful to have on the Vaaler Insurance CEO Spotlight today, Joe Fluge. And Joe is with a group that you may not have heard much about. I hadn't, but the more I learned about it, the more I said, hey, we got to let people know about this because this is pretty cool. He is with Urban Canine and Canine Crew, and he joins us here in studio this morning. Joe, thanks for coming in. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah, I'll have you sneak that microphone up nice and close to your chin there. There you go, so we can hear you nice and clear. So, Joe, first of all, tell us a little bit about your organization. There's a couple of things that you do here, so tell us about Urban Canine and Canine Crew.
Yeah, so Urban Canine is kind of my dog training / detection business. So we privately run drug dogs and explosive dogs for event centers like the Fargo Dome. Your private drug dog stuff is going to be treatment facilities, things like that. So, and then we do pet dog training and a little behavioral work on dogs, you know, for maybe the dogs that dig too much or bark too much.
Yeah, we all know a dog like that.
Everybody has one of them.
Or two.
Yes.
I have terriers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Enough said.
Enough said. I concur. And then Canine Crew is a 501c3 I founded a couple years ago, is what that is. It's a youth at-risk dog training program where we train kids how to become dog trainers. It's a 12-month program. So they meet with me about 2 hours a week for a year. Each class is 4 kids.
Okay. So let's take each of the parts here. I want to talk about Urban Canine first of all, because it's been in the news a little bit lately with the when they went and found that al-Baghdadi guy over in Syria. There was a dog, a detection dog, that actually was kind of one of the big heroes in that whole thing. That's going to be kind of cool to see the detection side of things making the news a little bit.
You know, it's always cool to see the military working dogs get praised for what they do. They're very well-trained dogs. They're at the top of their game. They train daily, very loyal to these special ops guys. I mean, they're great. Obviously, mine are a little step below, but the same, you know, watching them work, watching them do their job, enjoy their job, and, you know, for the purpose of ours, or, you know, to track explosives down or keep drugs out of treatment facilities so somebody doesn't relapse, you know, when it comes to that stuff. So, you know, it's nice the dogs are used for so many different things.
For sure. Yeah. How long does it take to train the right dog to do the kind of jobs that you have them do?
You know, for detection, anywhere from 16 to 18 weeks. Okay. You know, to get them on drugs. That's not including a lot of your exposure work and all that, your environmental stuff. Okay. That they got to be used to.
So how many dogs do you have that do that kind of work?
I currently have 2. I got 1 in training, and then 1 that hasn't started training yet. So I have 3 Belgian Malinois and a German Shepherd.
Okay. So let's now talk about Canine Crew, and then I want to ask you a few questions on the business side of Urban Canine. But on Canine Crew, how did this idea come up to use dog training as a way to reach some at-risk kids?
You know, well, dog training helped me when I quit drinking back in 2006, right? A huge redirection because dogs, they're very time-consuming. And I got into the hunt test world with the labs and things like that. So that alone is time consuming too. So as far as a redirection, it totally helped me. It kind of bypassed my thinking about bars and, you know, all that other stuff that comes with boozing. And then I did that for so many years. And then in 2016, we kind of had that fentanyl heroin phase start in Fargo, West Fargo, in our local area. And we had the kids hooked, dying, things like that. So, and it disturbed me as to the point of wanting to start something to help as the prevention side before it comes to that point, in a redirection kind of way. So our program are for kids 12 to 16 is the age group, you know, to really start building a fire and a passion for dogs. And they're already coming in loving dogs.
Yes.
We're just, you know, lighting that fire and give them a trade. I'm a big guy for putting people in uncomfortable situations So they learn, so they grow, a little bit of stress. And the dogs are able to do all this, plus give that unconditional love that and loyalty that, kids look for, kids that need it.
Well, congrats on changing your path. That's not an easy thing to do when you say, you know what, something's got to change, but it sounds like it's been a great move, but the dogs helped you get through that.
Yeah, they're great. They're your buds, right?
Yeah, right.
No matter if they're pets or working dogs or service dogs, you name it, the dogs are doing it now.
Yeah.
And we're just incorporating that to build this confidence in kids, maybe work on depression and, all that stuff, suicidal thoughts, things like that. So, and we work with a Leech Lake Legacy out of Minneapolis. So they surrender rescues to us, and then we throw them through the program. The kids train them, and we readopt them out.
Okay.
So we're working with rescues too.
Very cool. So when you got this idea, how did you get it started? How did you reach out to find the kids that your dogs could work with? How did you get that word out that, hey, I've got some dogs, I'd like to do this program? How did that get started?
It's just kind of word of mouth, and it still is word of mouth. We just started talking about it, and then a counselor talked to a counselor, and all of a sudden the parents were getting a hold of me, and we kind of started that way. After 9 months of doing IRS paperwork to get a 501c.
Yeah, right. There's all that. Yes.
And then, we started out at Cheyenne Kennels in his kind of backyard there, training dogs and, training with the puppies and everything else. So,
How many kids have you worked with? How many dogs have you worked through your program?
We're ready to start a 5th crew class. I call them crew classes. We've pushed through about 5 rescues. And then numerous pet dog people come in and look for the free advice on the training and stuff. So any one class, a crew class of 2 hours, they could go through anywhere from 3 to 10 breeds within that 2 hours. And for dog trainers, it's the amount of dogs you're getting on. And it's teaching these kids to talk to the people, to the clients, making eye contact if there's social anxiety. So we build... It's a building block to get them to communication. All kinds of other things built into the 12 months program. So,
do you have one breed that you like that maybe is smarter than the other, or is easier to train than the other? or one that really kind of rises above? Is there, or are they all kind of the same depending on the dog?
It's kind of that battle. Like if you're a hunter, are you a fan of a pointer or a lab, right? I'm a German Shepherd and a Belgian Malinois fan. To me, they're the best dogs ever.
That's what the police use for theirs most of the time.
Yeah, and they're just very loyal, very driven, hard-working dogs. They're out of the herding breed, But then again, labs, they're labs, right? Very good.
Can't beat a lab.
No.
Hard to beat a lab.
We could probably argue
Except
that.
the shedding with my wife.
Yeah. Labs love food, right?
Yeah.
They're great for, they're awesome explosive dogs, right? They're, because
of the nose,
because labs are natural hunters, right? You're just teaching them to hunt for an odor. So
Is that how
they're very good at it?
How do you typically train them then, with treats then, or praise, or is it a combination, or what's the best way for?
I use toys, so I use a Kong, a ball, so that's their motivation for me. There's trainers, that use complete treats, so when they see a treat bag, they know it's time to work. They're cued on a treat bag, right? I show them a toy, I say go find, right, and then they're working for the toy, right? I feed them on stuff, but they want their toy.
Yeah, right.
They're dogs.
Yeah. So. Tell us a story about a kid that you helped through the program and what you did made a big difference for him.
There's quite a few kids that come up. One of my former graduates just texted me the other night. He's going to put on a Halloween party, and all his proceeds from his Halloween party, he's going to donate to Canine Crew. And he came in just like a lot of them, not knowing or maybe a little insecure, things like that. And then 12 months down the road of the program, he's now playing sports. He's stood up to some bullies. So he grew as an individual with his own initiative, right? It's very important that he took the steps, right? I showed him paths. I did some mentoring. but he took the initiative to show up every crew class, to do the extra. And then I got another kid, I call her Boots. She volunteered, I bet 10 hours a week just to come hang out with the dogs on top of her canine crew class, on top of everything else. She did not like talking to people when she first started the class. And then 9-10 months later, she was actually on a TV news show with me in front of thousands of people, right? You could hardly get her to talk to one person. So they grow. Every kid is different. It's the little things. It doesn't have to be huge. If they're able to do something in 12 months, just little, that's going to excel them down the road. I mean, that makes me pretty nostalgic.
Question for you. We're all trying to figure out there's no magic potions or magic wands on kids and what gets them to the positions in life where they get to be at risk. But so many kids right now are struggling with mental health issues. You've been around a lot of kids now. I know that you probably don't feel like you have every answer, but where do we start in helping kids tackle the mental health concerns that so many of them are dealing with right now?
Well, I think good help is one, right? Because my program's a secondary to whatever they're getting for their normal mental health to take care of. I think passion is huge. So if you find that passion, it doesn't have to be dogs. It can be a mechanic. It can be guitar, violin. It doesn't matter, right? Because they promote sports via the same way. Keep them active, keep them doing this. But, as society, we kind of need to take off our blinders, too, and look at the perspective of what's happening. Why are they feeling this way? Is it our social media? Is it this that's really making all this come together, as tragic as it is with kids? Because nobody wants to see 14, 15-year-olds attempting suicide. What's the prevention? For me, I want to be ahead of it. I want to get to the 12-year-olds to start building on the foundation to become the 18 to 20-year-old, to get into the workforce, to have the confidence to talk to somebody. For me, it's starting that little building blocks at that age, and then lighten that passion on something. They don't have to be dog trainers when they're done with the program, but it's a good way for them to make money, because in certain ways, money is confidence, right? If they're out there making money, they become a little bit more confident, because now they can buy their own gas. They can maybe they buy Subway, whatever kids buy. More apps. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
But like I said, it gives them a mission. It gives them something, and it gives them objectives. It gives them goals. We just maybe sometimes go too fast for them in many different programs, because programs trying to it's quantity over quality, right? And I'm more of a quality, small classes and long classes, to make sure we consistently keep them going, because we all take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
And when they take 2 steps back, we need to be there to make sure they can get back on track and focus on their stuff. Because at age 12, they're starting at 6th, 7th grade, right? And then all these new kids, eventually peer pressure and everything else can take its toll on them after a few years, So I kind of timelined it out as best I could.
Yeah. Good stuff.
If that made sense.
Yeah, it sure does. If people want to find out more about Canine Crew or Urban Canine, how do they get a hold of you and find out more?
We have a couple web pages, urbancanine.net and caninecrew.net, and we also have Facebook pages and Instagram.
Okay.
So my contact information's on all that. And like I said, just give me a holler or shoot me an email.
Okay. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for the good that you're doing. It sounds like some pretty cool things are happening. You're making a difference for kids and the dogs, too. So good work.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Joe Fluge, Urban Canine and Canine Crew in the Vaaler Insurance CEO Spotlight. Vaaler Insurance's employee benefits division specializes in assisting and taking pressure off of your HR staff so that they can focus on other tasks. They offer employer solutions, HR assistance, and employee education. Doesn't cost a penny to ask some questions. To set up a visit, go online to Vaaler.com. That's Vaaler.com. It is 8:20, and as